Welcome to Fearless Friday's bonus video. In this video, we're going to talk about one surefire and solid way to work through personal triggers. In the video that I posted directly before this, I spoke about personal triggers and how they can pretty much wreak havoc in our life and what happens when a personal trigger gets triggered. And it really is this chain of reactions and events that go on. Now, the tip that I'm going to share with you today, the tool, is a very simple, quick, and easy way to work through a personal trigger. Now, some of you may be asking, well, what is a personal trigger? I don't get it. A personal trigger is anything that sets you off. Now, typically, this stems from childhood, but not always. So some personal triggers are people that you perceive as fake, maybe passive-aggressive behavior, maybe feeling like that you're being ignored or not heard, being cut off in traffic, name calling, but there's all kinds of things that can act as a personal trigger for you. And each one of us is unique in that sense. Now, once you identify what your personal trigger is, that's when we can start with this video. So I'd like for you to just take a few moments to think about what is your personal trigger, what really gets your goat, what sets you off, and then afterwards you're like, oh my God, what did I just do? Or shit, you know? And it's almost like you were on autopilot, almost like you weren't even conscious about what you were doing, okay? So think about that little trigger that sets you off. So since I shared in my last video about being ignored, so how I would work through this is I would just get a simple notebook and just write down, how do I feel when I am ignored, or when I perceive that I'm being ignored or avoided or not heard. And then I just write down everything that I'm feeling, okay? So maybe it's I feel sad, I feel confused, and all these other things, okay? And then with each one of those descriptive words that how you feel, take that a step further. Why do you feel sad? Why do you feel confused? Why do you feel frustrated? And then just keep drilling down. Okay, why do you feel that way? And just keep drilling down until you get to the core of the matter. And many times it's because we perceive a lack in ourselves that the other person is either not fulfilling or not bringing to the table in that relationship, or that, normally it's just because we feel a lack of some sort and we're hoping that it can be satisfied in some other realm. And that trigger is a personal offense to us. Now, once you've worked through this exercise and you have written down, okay, this is my personal trigger, this is how I feel when I'm being triggered, when that trigger has fired off, and then drill down, okay, so this is why I feel this way, and this is why I feel this way, and then we get to that perceived lack of ours. So once we have those things that we perceive that we're lacking, that we're not getting out of a situation, then ask yourself, how can I bring that into my life on my own? Now, many times, something else that actually acts as a very big trigger is money or finances. So if money or finances is a trigger for you, let's just say that you see someone spending lavishly and that acts as a trigger for you, do you perceive yourself as having a lack of financial abundance or a lack of prosperity in your life? And so all of these things that we work through as we're looking at personal triggers and the emotions involved with them, and then the reasons why these emotions are coming up, and really drilling down and then receiving or all of a sudden, figuring out, oh, well, this is my lack that I'm perceiving that I don't have. Well, how can I bring that into my life? And so this really is a layered process, and every time that we do this process, we strip off another layer and another layer and just another layer and another layer. It really is just like an onion. And so don't get discouraged if you work through it today and then maybe next week it happens again. Well, that's perfect. Then you can work through it again. And then maybe if it happens 6 months from now, then you can work through this again. But allow yourself to be really brutally honest with yourself about what triggers you, what you really feel when you have been triggered, why you feel that way, and then look at that why, look at that perceived lack, and then ask yourself, how can I bring this perceived lack into my life? And when you do that, those things that have triggered us in the past are not as emotionally charged, meaning you won't be as triggered as you have been in the past. And so if someone ignores me, then it takes a lot in order to get me worked up. Versus years ago where I would say hi and the person would turn around and I'd freak out, So this is something that over time it does get better, and it does allow you to see yourself in a different light, and it'll also allows you to just kind of dig deeper and say, what am I perceiving that I have a lack of, that I'm hoping to get out of these external circumstances, whether it's a relationship with others, a relationship with money, a relationship with anything else. Really allow yourself to be brutally honest with what comes up as you're doing this exercise. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, subscribe to my channel so you won't miss one single Fearless Friday episode. Also, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends on Facebook and Twitter. Then jump on over to florapeterson.com and join in on all the discussions below the video and leave your comments. And also, sign up for my free gifts and tools to help you live a fearlessly inspired life. Until next week, bye-bye.